Good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live right here on Mike Avery Outdoors on the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and Twitter as well. My name, of course, is Mike Avery. This is something I do every Wednesday night, and it's been an absolutely beautiful day here in my part of the world. Lori is along with us this evening. How are you, my good friend? Nice to have you with us. Good evening to you, Kevin. Good evening. How are you? Kevin Coyote Killing King. Roger's along with us tonight. Roger, how are you? Good evening, Craig. Craig says, good evening, Captain Mike. You know, it's interesting, Craig. I got another drug test, another random drug test to go along with my captain's license. This is the second one I've had since I've had my license. That's okay. I have nothing to fear. Mike is along with us. Mike, good evening. How are you? John Callison, Martin, Crossbow Hunter. Martin, how are you? Chad, good evening. How are you? Nice to have you along with us on another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Dave, Rob, checking in from the rainy north. Bill Hoffman. Good evening, Bill. And you know what? Hey, Michelle, how are you? Since this is National Beer Day, I'm drinking a Guinness as to celebrate National Beer Day. I would encourage you, if you're a beer drinker, to have a beer along with me as part of National Beer Day. Good evening, Bernie. Yeah, Kevin, Andrew, that'll be... it'll be a while before that's done, but it'll be interesting. Bill's going to shoot 300 tonight. Linda, nice to see you as well. Even though I can't see you, I know you're along with us, and that's great. Ross is sending rain, not snow. Rob, you're liking the new drone videos, huh? As something I found out, there are no drone-related hunting videos, hunting laws on the books in Michigan. I'll talk more about that. Roger says almost turkey time. He's grabbing a beer right now. The Angler Quest hit the water last Friday and found a few fish not far from my old haunts. Blake loved the first trip out. I'm glad. I knew that you were going to. I knew you were going to love that boat, Scott, and I couldn't be happier that you guys have that boat. Really, really. Haven't heard about the perch in the cuts. Any chance of a bear hunt up in Ontario this year? I don't think so. I really don't. As much as I'd like to get up there, I just don't see us hunting in Ontario this year. And I feel bad for the folks there. Really, I really do. National Beer Day, please join me if you like. Not a good day up here. Just went home. Not a good day up here. Just went to stay at home as per our government. I didn't hear that. Drone laws are strict for commercial use. Be careful. You may need a pilot's license. No, I don't. I don't. Because this drone right here is 249 grams. It does not need to be registered. I do not need to be licensed. Of course, I can't fly it over 400 feet. Why would I want to? Johnny says maybe we'll be hunting Encini, though. Almost forgot about being a National Beer Day. Excellent. Smart, yes. It's a little tiny one that still shoots high definition video. Jason says the suckers are starting to run, almost turkey season. Adam got a Mini 2. Mine is just a Mavic Mini. I got it at Costco for $299. I couldn't pass it up. Cheers. Cheers to National Beer Day. Amen to that. Just got back from the fridge with a Stella. It looks like we're all drinking beer tonight on National Beer Day here on Wednesday Night Live. Johnny had a burger and a beer over at Andy's. Local rules, though, can't fly any drone on campus. Yes, there are local rules. You also can't fly one over, I think it's a state park. You can't fly one over an occupied beach. Jamie says, cheers. Well, cheers back at you, Jamie. I have the entire list of laws here, and I'll get to it later, but it's kind of boring. But just know that there are no laws pertaining to hunting in Michigan with a drone, except that you cannot use a drone to harass a hunter. But as far as using a drone to hunt with or to scout with, there's nothing on the books. There's not even anything on the books that says you can't use a drone to harass wildlife, which of course will be corrected as drones become more and more popular. Not all of us have a beer. Poor me, have to go to work tonight, but cheers. Jeff's having an ice cold bush latte there. Good evening. State park is okay. National park is a no-no. Okay, let's double check this here. This law prohibits, I got them right here. State parks and recreational areas. This law prohibits the operation of an unmanned aircraft that knowingly and intentionally interferes with department employees, the operation of an, cultural, that it prohibits flying over an occupied beach, an equestrian facility, an open changing court, any area subject to an aerial right-of-way, commercial operations, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so not all, what does this say here now? So not all parts of state parks, Cameron says, guess what day it is? It's hump day. What day am I fishing with Lance? I'm fishing the Detroit River next Thursday with Lance Valentine. Yeah, I don't want to fly near an airport. What I want to do primarily is I want to fly the drone on Saginaw Bay with to get video of the Angler Quest. Love that boat. Live well not hold water. The live well will not hold water. Scott, I didn't have any problem at all with the live well not holding water. And this is a minor thing, and I know you've checked this, but did you screw down the drain pipe all the way so it's tight? I didn't have any problems with the live well not holding water. So no, you can't fly over nude beaches. Not that I know of any, and not that I would want to. What else is on my list, my friends? I'm going to talk about several things tonight, including the fact that the two areas that I had planned on turkey hunting are devoid of birds. One of them, at my buddy Scott's place, they're doing some habitat work at the property next to him, and it's driven the birds off his property. That I understand. I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. I hope you can fly over me on Saginaw Bay, but be careful with the zoom function. This is a cheap drone. It does not zoom. The other property at my buddy Doug's house, or his farm, actually, just not too far from here at all, where I shot that bird last year, but unfortunately did not recover it, is surprisingly, there are no birds there. I've been driving the area. There's no birds around there, the entire section. I've been going out there in the morning to try to see birds. I went out there this morning on the way into the studio and called and got no response. There are no birds there. So I'm getting a little nervous. I did get some good news this afternoon. The property, the gasket gave way under the live well over the winter. Well, that boat comes with a full warranty, as you know, Scott, so I'm sure the folks at Linwood Beach Marina will fix it for you. Yeah, it's a great boat. 26-footer, you're going to love it. National Beer Day. Hey, Ron, here we go. Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. Hello, Mike. We are going into a 28-day stay-at-home order lockdown because of the variant cases. Hopefully, this ends soon so we can get back to normal. Picking up the paper rustling? Is that bothering you, Linda? Oh, I know why. I can fix that. Problem fixed. Thank you for pointing out the audio problem. There. what I was doing is I was picking up the audio from my MacBook, and now I've switched it over to my official broadcast professional grade microphone. Thank you for letting me know about that. Scott's got birds over there. I appreciate that, Scott. So Ron says a 28-day stay-at-home order in Ontario. Ugh. I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry. And yes, hopefully it does get better soon so we can see you guys very soon. So anyway, I did get some good news this afternoon. The property that we had been deer hunting on in the fall that we leased, and it was open. The lease was only open to deer hunting. I got a hold of Gene, and I said, any chance, I know you've got birds out there, any chance I can come out and turkey hunt for a few days? And he said, yes. So I do have access to a different property. And that's where I will probably be hunting opening day, unless for some miraculous reason the birds show back up at my other properties. Yeah, Mike says that's tough. It is. I feel terrible for the folks in Ontario. All of these outfitters. Now, Ron St. Louis, for example, has missed his spring bear hunt last year in 2020. He missed his fall bear hunt in August of 2020. It looks like he's going to miss the spring bear hunt, and I'm praying that he does not miss the August hunt. That would be just terrible. Kevin says, come to his backyards. There's 8 to 10 inch beards dragging there every day at the bird feeder. Any good turkey hunter will tell you that you want to know where, if you're hunting around houses, that you want to know where the bird feeders are, because at some point during the day, the birds will hit those bird feeders. That's one good thing. Record bear weights coming soon, because we haven't been up there to hunt those bears in a couple of years. They're going to be big. A farmer is clearing out the hedgerow. I was planning on sitting in this year. Hope they finish soon, because the birds have vanished with all the commotion. Fred, that's the same thing I'm dealing with at not one of my properties, but one of the properties I had access to. Ron, I tell you what, all of us are praying for you. You have the best wishes of all of us, even those who did not plan on hunting with you. We wish you well, because we know you. We know you're a good guy. You run a top shelf operation, Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters.com. You're not going to be able to book a hunt with Ron this year, because even if it opens up, Ron has hunters from previous years who I'm sure have dibs on those spots. Jerry says Michigan is top shelf hunting for turkeys on the 17th. Absolutely. Elliot says, I got a spot for you too if you need a spot. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Elliot. It's ZZ, so it's Southern Michigan private land. I'm hunting with a recurve, so I'm not a real danger to the birds. But I want to get out there. There's no doubt about that. Okay, again, this is National Beer Day. So if you're a beer drinker, let's have a beer together. And tell me what you're drinking, by the way. This is a Guinness Extra Stout. And to be honest with you, since my surgery, I can drink about half of this. I can't even get the whole thing down. Unit ZZ, April 17th to May 31st, Southern Michigan private land only. Yes, that's my go-to hunt. Okay, what else? Did you see fishing the Detroit River next Wednesday with Reelfin? I'll be out there on Thursday. Chad is drinking a Corona. Eric says cheers. I'll be out there Thursday fishing with Lance Valentine of Walleye 101. What else did I want to talk about? The drones. I'll get to that in a minute. My boat, the boat that the Angler Quest that I'm going to be running this summer, a 26-foot Angler Quest Pro Troll Deluxe with a 300-horse outboard. I'm not a real danger to the birds. Stewart's fished with him before. Stewart says, Ron makes you feel like family. It's a great all-around experience. It is. Yeah, the fire department, Brody, probably would not appreciate you drinking a beer with us right now. Paul is drinking a Tri-City Brewing Hell's Half Mile. Tom is drinking a Busch Latte. The 826 Pro Troll that Angler Quest is building that I will be fishing from this summer is just about done. I talked with Brad Dupuis of Angler Quest. He says it's almost done. They have to hang the motor, which is a 300 horse Merc, which I'm looking forward to that. Kevin's drinking a Molson Canadian. Elliot's drinking a Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. And they're waiting for the electronics. I'm going to be running Garmin this year. I'm excited about that because, to be honest with you, I've had some problems with the Lowrance units that I have used in the past. They're good. Randy's drinking a Bud, Jim's drinking a Heineken, and Jim is drinking a Blue Moon. So I'm looking forward to the Garmin. I've heard nothing but good things about Garmin. Okay, am I going to have Live Scope? I don't know. I don't think so. I wouldn't know how to use it if I had it. Ron is drinking Irish Cream on the rocks. He's out of beer. Scott says bingo on the Lowrance. I've had some problems with Lowrance. Martin says, woohoo, he can't wait until the 26th because that's when he's fishing with me on Saginaw Bay. Good evening, Todd. How are you? Coors Light for Roger tonight because this is National Beer Day. Bill Hoffman was with us, and he didn't ask who's on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week. I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Jerry's drinking Michelob Ultra. Stu's drinking Maker's Mark. No nasty beer here. I got to be honest with you. As much as I love this stuff, I think I'm probably done with it for the night. Lori runs Garmin, and I will probably have a Maker's Mark in my beloved Crystal Light. I'm switching back to Crystal Light. I love Crystal Light with Maker's Mark. Okay, here's who's on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week. We're going to start out talking with Bob Ransom of Primal Tree Stands. And the reason is, let me show you why. Let me do a share screen here. Share screen, Chrome tab. There we go. Because Bob is announcing this new blind. It's a Primal Tree Stands Breeze Deluxe, and it's designed to be hunted in warm weather. You can see that it's got a lot of opportunity for airflow. But here's the cool thing about it. This is a $245 blind. If you go to outdoorpregame.com, and you use this promo code right here, Mike20, you'll drop the price of that blind from $245 to $180. So this is a new blind from Primal Tree Stands. Bob Ransom is on the radio show with me this week to talk about that. Then Ken Dalton, the pheasant himself, joins me. He's from the Michigan Pheasant Hunting Initiative. He says, while you're buying your new hunting and fishing licenses, please don't forget to buy your $25 Michigan pheasant stamp. Andy's checking in. He's drinking a Labatt's Blue. Rob's with us. He's drinking a Blue Moon. In hour number 2, we're talking turkey with Chet Lohr. Chet is a Central Michigan turkey hunting guide, and he's one of the best out there. And I asked him, I said, here's my problem. The birds have disappeared. What could it be? I said, some people have said it's predators. He says it's not predators. He says you can't have enough coyotes in the area to run them off. And there are coyotes in the area, but not significantly more than any other year. He says it's a food thing. He says the birds go where the food is. He says, take a closer look at your area. Something has changed. Something has changed with the food source, that the birds have moved to a new food source. He said, expand your scouting. He said, go out another mile or so, and you'll find where the birds are. That doesn't do me a lot of good because I don't have access to those properties that are a mile away. Interesting question, Bernie. Very, very interesting question. Why are they still making such an issue about the Rampolla buck? An excellent question. I'll come back to that in a minute. What's my go-to turkey call? A box call, a mouth call, or a slate call? I love a slate call, and I love a push button call. Nick Green from MUCC joins me to talk about the fact that there's an anti-hunting group that has filed a lawsuit against DNR Director Dan Eichinger and the people that he put on the Wolf Advisory Committee. The anti-hunting groups don't like the fact that there aren't more anti-hunting groups on the Wolf Advisory Committee, and they've sued the DNR Director Dan Eichinger. And they also don't like the fact that Amy Trotter of MUCC is on that advisory committee. I'm telling you, these anti-hunting groups, they really, really make me mad. Hey, James, how are you? Nice to have you along with us tonight. I think I'm scheduled for personal goatee training on the Lowrance, but he told me not to push too many buttons or he's not responsible. When can we hunt sandhill cranes in Michigan? Not soon, maybe never. Chad, would you rather, and this, I'm not being a smart aleck, would you rather have a sandhill hunt or a wolf hunt? Because you're not going to get both in the near future. The DNR doesn't have the resources, the time, or the heart to push for both of them right now. Nice to see Danny. Nice to have you along with us. John got his fish and deer combo the other day. What did it cost you? $76? That's a very good $76. Chad says he'd rather have a wolf hunt. That's, I think, where the resources are going to go. This week's Ask Avery segment deals with the question of how can you use, is it legal or illegal to use a drone in Michigan for hunting? There are no laws on the books in Michigan about the use of a drone for hunting. Therefore, you can legally use it for scouting. You can legally use it for hunting. There's not even a law on the books in Michigan that says you cannot use a drone to harass wildlife. Now, of course, that's unethical, but it's not illegal. It's only unethical if you're using it. Well, let me rephrase. In my opinion, it's not unethical to use it to harass the geese on the pond behind my house. That is completely an ethical use. I'm saying that somewhat sarcastically. Linda has a very interesting concept. Why not just let the experts and science manage the hunts, period. Amen to that, Linda. And didn't we pass the Scientific Wildlife Management Act back in what? Many years ago that's supposed to guarantee that, and yet we still don't have it done? Keith says elk regs prohibit the use of drones. And I'm not denying that. Rob says, I was told you can't fly a drone while carrying the weapon of the season. Here's where I'm getting my information from. I went to Lieutenant Jason Wickland of the DNR. He told me we don't have anything on the books yet about drones and hunting. The only thing on the books, according to Lieutenant Jason Wickland of the Michigan DNR about drones and hunting, is you can't use a drone to harass a hunter with. I'm basing it on what I was told from the DNR. If there's something different out there, my apologies, and I'm just telling you that maybe I got some bad information, but that's what I was told. Interesting, Justin. Justin says he got all of his licenses plus, and I appreciate you bringing this up, Justin. He got all of his licenses plus his pure Michigan hunt, 5 entries for 31 cents a day. 31 cents a day. What else can you do for 31 cents a day? You can't drink a beer for 31 cents a day. You can't smoke a cigar for 31 cents a day. You can't do anything for 31 cents a day. I think it's a pretty good deal. Ron says the last thing you need is any anti-hunter group on any boards making hunting decisions. Agreed. But there is an anti-hunting board, an anti-hunting group on the Wolf Management Board. And I think that was somehow mandated. I can't tell you what it was. And then in hour number 3, you thought I forgot, didn't you? At the end of hour number 2 is the Ask Avery segment about drones and hunting. And then hour number 3, outdoor writer Mike Natkowski joins me to talk about all things outdoors, outdoor writing, outdoor opportunities in the springtime here in Michigan. Because even the experts have agendas and science is manipulated. How about a board of advisors drawn from a pool of hunters and fishermen lottery? Interesting concept. Get the average Joe Blow hunter or angler on there. For just 31 cents a day, you too can sponsor a hunter and buy his tags. That is very witty, Martin. Very witty. All right, Johnny. Good to have you along with us. Talk to you later. And then, of course, Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dave Miner joins us with another recipe. Okay. I have not seen him on here, but I suspect that Ed Bolanowski of Speedy Blaze is with us. SpeedyBlaze.com. SpeedyBlaze.com. Tonight, we're going to give away some Speedy Blaze, but we're going to give away something different. We're going to give this away, the new grilling pellets from Speedy Blaze. These are pellets that you put in your grill to give your food a nice smoky flavor. Applewood, mesquite, and hickory. This is a new product from Speedy Blaze. Ed Bolanowski, are you with us? I'm sure he is. Have not seen him yet. Lori, if we don't see him, I'm going to ask you to play the role of Ed. I just talked to Ed a while ago, and he said he'd be with us. A senior license. How old is a senior? How old do you have to be? 65? I'm not there yet. SpeedyBlaze.com. There he is. Okay. You've got 2 minutes starting right now to make your comments on why you want to win these new Speedy Blaze. Where'd we go here? Remove, stop sharing the screen. SpeedyBlaze.com to win those new grilling pellets that I just showed you the screen from. SpeedyBlaze.com. 1 minute and 45 seconds. Make your comments right now on why you want to win these. I'll share this screen again because I don't think you got a good look at it. Chrome tab. Grilling pellets from Speedy Blaze. Boom. That's what we're going to be giving away tonight, courtesy of Ed Bolanowski, Sherm Hubbard, and the folks at Speedy Blaze. SpeedyBlaze.com, SpeedyBlaze.com. Make your comments. I'm not seeing any yet. It is a great idea from Speedy Blaze. There we go. We got some comments coming in now. Ed Bolanowski is standing by. He's going to pick the winner in 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you would like to win some, make your comments now. The website, SpeedyBlaze.com, SpeedyBlaze.com. You need a good buzzer tonight, Ed? All right, I'll see what I can do. We'll see. I did 24 seconds last week. We'll see how I do tonight. 1 minute. Make your comments on why you want to win some of the Speedy Blaze new grilling pellets. You can put them in your campfire. You can put them in your grill. They'll give your food a nice smoky flavor. 45 seconds. Yes, they will work in the smoker too, Bernie. Absolutely. Anything from Sherm Hubbard is a double pleasure, Scott says. 30 seconds on the Speedy Blaze. 30 seconds on why you want to win some Speedy Blaze grilling pellets from Michigan-based Speedy Blaze. SpeedyBlaze.com. 15 seconds. 15 seconds on the Speedy Blaze. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contest is over. What did I get tonight, my friends? Was that more than 24 seconds? I know somebody timed it. Is there a glitch in the matrix? There is. There's a glitch in the matrix. 26 seconds. Yes. 26 seconds on that buzzer tonight. Good buzzer. Thank you. Michelle Plowman is our winner tonight. Michelle Plowman, congrats. No, Linda, there was 23. Oh, come on. Somebody's telling me 22 seconds, 23 seconds, but somebody else said we need to have an official scorer because I can't have all this back and forth. What is it? What is it not? Jason says it was a 10 out of 10. Michelle says, sweet. Mike says he had no idea they had pellets. It's a new product, Mike. It's a new product from Speedy Blades. John Callison got 26.07 seconds. So guess what? I'm going with John Callison for a new personal best on the buzzer. 26.07 seconds on the buzzer. Michelle, congrats to you, dear. Send me, Martin says he'd say it was over 24 seconds. Michelle, send me your mailing address or give it directly to Ed Bolanowski's, who was here with us tonight, and we'll get those pellets off to you, the grilling pellets from Speedy Blaze. Ed Bolanowski, Sherm Hubbard, appreciate your support, appreciate your generosity. And if you guys are willing, we'll give away some Speedy Blaze products every night for the next few weeks here on Wednesday Night Live. John says he started it right when I started. Can't get any more accurate than that. 26.07 seconds. Craig Plowman says, congratulations, Michelle Plowman. You guys had double the entries in there, though, didn't you? Oh, Lori and I were counting U.S. seconds, not metric seconds. I'm sorry. I'm going with the 26. Okay. So what else? Oh, I recorded an offshore tackle podcast today with a guy named Dylan Nussbaum. Dylan was the youngest guy ever to win an NWT, a National Walleye Trail tournament. He did it in 2018 when he was 20 years old. So I talked to him about the concept of getting into professional fishing, what it's like to be such a young guy in professional fishing. We talked about walleye fishing. We talked extensively about jigging for walleye on the Detroit River because that's where his tournament is. He's going down there this weekend. I will be down there along with Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. We're going fishing with Lance Valentine next Thursday afternoon. I will post some pictures. I will post some video. You know what? I might even post a little live video from the Detroit River, weather permitting, with Lance Valentine of Walleye 101 and Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. Chad says it's his first time watching on Facebook. Usually listen to on the radio. Very cool. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. Bernie's helping me come back to Rampolla. I was going to get back to it, Bernie, but thank you. And the question is, why are people still interested in the Rampolla buck? And I don't know the answer to that. Well, the answer is because we don't have an answer as to whether it was legitimate or not. But why will it not go away? It has come back up in my world because Kevin Vistison from the Deer Hunter podcast got in touch with me and he said, will you join me for a podcast talking about the Rampolla buck? And I said I would, and I did. We recorded it last night. Now, it's not because I'm an expert on the Rampolla buck. It's not because I saw the Rampolla buck. He came to me because he knows that I know or knew Mitch. I spent some time with him. I was at his house. I interviewed him on the radio show. I interviewed him on the radio show immediately after he shot that big buck. I'm one of very few people who actually interviewed him. I know of 3 people who actually interviewed Mitch Rampolla about that buck. Yes, the pellets are on the website, Mike. They are. I just, that's where I was drawing that image from, was the website, speedyblaze.com. Hello, Terry. How are things in Shingleton? That answers your question, hopefully, Mike. A reporter from Channel 9 and 10 out of Cadillac, he was their outdoor reporter at the time. He interviewed him. Richard P. Smith interviewed him, and I interviewed him. I also went to his house. When we get done here, if you want to see something interesting, what's the hat on the shelf behind me? That's a topic for next week. When we get done here, go to my YouTube channel, or if you're watching on YouTube, go to my video about Mitch Rampolla. I went to his house. I interviewed him about deer hunting. We went back in the woods and did some scouting. He showed me how he scouts. He walked me through the different racks in his house, the different trophy mounts in his house. When can we hear the podcast? Whenever Kevin gets it done. I don't think so, Ed. Well, Ed says, I read something that the buck can now be entered, something about Milo Hansen having a lawsuit that's now expired. The gist of this story for your youngsters with us here tonight, John, Mitch Rampolla, who was a world-class whitetail hunter. You cannot argue that. If you are arguing in that, you're a fool. You can argue his people skills. You can argue the wisdom of why he didn't fight it. You can argue about whether that particular buck was real or not. But you cannot argue the fact that Mitch Rampolla is an expert, a world-class whitetail hunter. That is undisputable. Undisputable. I've talked with him. I've met him. I've been to his house. Have you? And I find it interesting that the vast majority of people who know Mitch or knew Mitch, have met Mitch and talked to Mitch, the vast majority of those people are convinced the buck is legitimate. Most of the people who claim it's a fake, a hoax, he's a violator, a poacher, or whatever, most of those people have never even met the man. They're basing their assumptions on something they know nothing about. I'm not pretending to know him well. I'm not pretending to be a good friend of his, but I met him. I've talked with him. I've interviewed him. I think he's the real deal. And I believe that's a legitimate world record buck. Personally, I wish, is it next week, Ken? I didn't know it was next week already. When it's posted, I will put a link online, and I will have Kevin on the radio show as well. But I don't think it's going to be next week already, is it? I'd heard he was interviewing several people. I was just one of them. But I believe it's legit. I am disappointed that Mitch did not push harder to have it verified. I understand why he didn't, because he's an antisocial guy who enjoys working with whitetails more than people. I get that. But he didn't want to deal with the hassle of defending himself. And I understand that. From Mitch's perspective, I understand that. But from the perspective of a Michigan guy, I would have loved the idea of having a certified, legitimate, bona fide, indisputed, undisputable world record whitetail from Michigan. That would have been very, very cool. I think we've all seen deer that people would be shocked to know were real. Yeah, true. So, Bernie, to answer your question, why is it back up again now? Why is it news again now? I don't know, other than the fact that Kevin from Deer Hunter Podcast is investigating it. He's got a big audience, and so he's causing some interest in it again. What day is it? It's Hump Day. What day is it? It's National Beer Day. Scott says, people that I work with told me he looks like a violator. That's why they doubt him. He looks like a violator. Go to my video when we're done. Go to my YouTube video about Rampolla Speaks. I did not. Did I hold the Rampolla rack or did I see it? I did not see it. An acquaintance of mine did. And we'll see if he talks about it on the Deer Hunter Podcast. Interesting, isn't it? Ken is saying now that it's going to be a couple of weeks. He was teasing it on Instagram. Ken, by the way, how is your podcast doing? You and I talked early on when you were going to launch that thing. How's it going? Whatever happened to it, Jason, I don't know the answer. Whatever happened to that buck, I don't know. It's probably squirreled away somewhere in a barn or something, but, and we will never know the truth, in my opinion, unless Mitch decides he wants to become public again and talk about it. I have tried reaching out to him to tell him that I would like to get him back on the air and interview him, not even necessarily about that buck, but just about what he's been up to. Because though he is an antisocial guy, I felt that I related to him pretty well. And I think it was because he knew that I respected his deer hunting ability and I was genuinely interested in learning from him. And I think he could sense that. Appreciate you asking. A couple of years, life got busy, had to put it on the shelf. That happens. Well, and Martin, Scott isn't saying Scott thought it looked like a violator. Scott is saying guys he talked with thought he looked like a fire. I didn't hear that, but there are all kinds of rumors around it. Let me tell you a real quick story before we have to wrap this thing up. And again, go to my YouTube channel and look at the video of Rampolla Speaks. And he's not speaking about that buck, but it's Rampolla talking, which you don't see much about at all. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. What you don't see on that video is when the camera was done, Mitch and I are standing in the kitchen, and I said, so what's next for you? And he says, I got my eye on a really big buck. It's going to be a state, not a Southern accent, but he's very slow and he's very deep talking. He said, it's going to be a state record. I said, wow, that's interesting. What can you tell me about it? He said, it's in the area. It's not too far. I've seen it a few times. And then he did something that blew me away. He said, I have a picture of it. I said, you have a picture of a buck you've been scouting that's going to be a new state record buck. Would you mind showing it to me? He said, no, I'd be happy to. So he takes this book, this photo album, and he opens it up in front of me. And believe me, in this photo album, there are pictures of bucks that would make your jaw drop. He shows me a picture. It's one side of the buck. It's a little bit blurry and it's kind of far away, but you can see that this buck looks like an elk because of the mass that it has and the size that it has. He said, I'm scouting that buck, and if I kill it, it'll be a new state record. Then, to further blow my mind, he walks over to the corner, and in a cardboard box in the corner of the room, he reaches in and he picks up a shed from that buck, and the shed matches the picture that he's showing me. So I'm basing my belief that it's a legitimate real buck based on my experiences with Mitch and what he showed me, and it's pretty impressive. Craig says, my only agenda was trying to learn from one of the best, unlike others. Yeah, I had no agenda going in. I wasn't trying to prove he was a violator or anything. So do I believe his record book buck was the real deal? Absolutely. I got you, Martin. Martin was not criticizing Scott. Good. And I appreciate that, Martin. He's just saying, what does a violator look like? Well, I don't know. But I just find it interesting that Scott says his buddies didn't believe him because he said Mitch looked like a violator. Hey, Mitch Rampolla is not perfect. I'm not perfect. Unless you're Jesus, you're not perfect. And I didn't see Jesus on the feed tonight, so I don't think Jesus was watching. So every one of us here tonight is not perfect. So did Mitch do things in the past he's not proud of? I'm sure he did. I have. You probably have. But I met the man. I spent some time with the man. I've talked with the man quite a few times. I've interviewed him a few times. I've had him on the radio show. I had him on the radio show to tell, and here's the really sad part that breaks my heart. I had him on the radio show within days of him shooting that buck. And he told me the story and he walked me through the scenario. But there is not a record of that conversation because at the time, the radio show isn't what it is today. And we didn't routinely record the shows. And I had no reason to believe that I wouldn't be able to talk to Mitch about it a dozen more times in the future. I didn't know he was going to go underground, figuratively. One more last point before I let you go. If somebody does have a copy of the interview, because I've heard it on the internet, on YouTube. I was searching Rampolla buck one day, and somebody is playing some audio of Mitch talking about that. And then a guy asked a question during the interview, and I am convinced that is my interview and my voice. And I don't know how the guy got the audio. And I've even asked him, I said, that's my audio. You don't have permission to use it. And how did you get it? And there's somebody even took on their YouTube channel. They took my video under their YouTube channel and posted it again. That's mine, people. It's like my Fred Bear video. It's mine. You don't own it. You don't have permission. So no, he did not get back to me. So I've reached out to him in every channel I can think of, every method, every person I can think of, to say, Mitch, you're welcome on my show anytime. You know I respect you. You know I believe you, and I'm a friendly audience. Haven't heard back, and I doubt if I will. So I don't know why. I don't know. Drew says well, Drew, this is interesting. Drew Youngdag. Drew, always a pleasure to have you along with us. Drew says we outlawed drones for hunting back in 2014 or 2015. Lieutenant Jason Wicklund from the DNR tells me, because I asked Ed Golder. No, they didn't ask Ed. I asked Jason Wicklund. Because people were asking, since I was posting drone video, he says, we do not have anything on the books yet as far as hunting other than hunter harassment. Drew, if you could send me that, legend, yeah, in my own mind. Drew, that's very interesting. If you could point me in the right direction, I will be happy to correct that. In fact, I talked about it on this weekend's radio show, and I will make a point, if that's the case, of correcting it on next week's radio show, because I do not want to put out bad information. And I was absolutely shocked to be told that there was no law on the books about using drones, and there was not even a law on the books making it illegal to harass wildlife with a drone. So I would like to be educated, my friend. Please do that. Drew Youngdag from the National Wildlife Federation, formerly at MUCC. You can follow Drew on Instagram at Michigan Outside. Is that what it is, Drew? Very good guy, very knowledgeable guy. Well, that's true. That's true. All right, my friends. We have just done a 47-minute Wednesday Night Live. Maybe it was because I had a little bit of help from this. It's National Beer Night. And it's hump day. Oh, my beer flowed over a little bit. All right, I got to go and clean this mess up. That's why I don't drink beer on the air, because it. Anyway, my friends, have a good night. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. You can always reach me via email, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Have a great night.